Salute, folks. It's your boy, the insurance junkie, your fiduciary fella, the all-star advisor Alonzo Hall, and I've returned today to whap and tap on your head with another ADH Wealth Solution article. Today's article is entitled Morning Coffee. Morgan Stanley bonuses disappoint as Goldman Sachs and JP Morgan prepare to announce. Ex-Credit Suisse banker owes fortuitous to exit to his wife. Written by Sarah Butcher for efinancialcareers.com. Before I go in, ladies and gentlemen, make sure you hit that like, drop a comment, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you're made aware every time I release new content. And as always, share. Lastly, to contribute to channel growth or to schedule an appointment with a licensed financial professional, the links are in the description of this video. So as we proceed to give you what you need. It's a curious fauble of investment bank bonus season that Morgan Stanley announces its bonuses internally before other banks. Even though it announces its fourth quarter results last, Goldman Sachs and JP Morgan announce bonuses shortly after their results are out, and B of A and Citi announce a week or so later, with this year's Citi delay down to the bank's $900 million loss on Argentina and $400 million reserve build for Russia. While everyone's wondering how bad bonuses will be at Citi and waiting to hear this week's news at Goldman Sachs and JP Morgan, we therefore already know a bit about how things went at Morgan Stanley. And the answer seems to be not so good. After speaking to bankers at Morgan Stanley, Financial News says there's widespread disappointment, that zero bonuses have been deployed, and that juniors seem to have been squeezed more than the rest. The bonus pool for Morgan Stanley's investment bankers is apparently down 10 to 15%, and there's no mention of markets professionals. Now, pause, ladies and gentlemen. This is funny. This is why it's generally better to go with an independent advisor. When you go to these large wirehouses, JP Morgan, Citibank, Bank of America, Goldman Sachs, Fidelity, Vanguard, a lot of your investment gets eaten up by these huge bonuses that are given to the investment bankers. But you never see that. They'll tell you not to buy insurance because of the fees, but these guys' fees are built into your investment, and then the fees that you don't see end up being their Christmas or New Year's bonus. So our pre-Christmas bonus survey suggested that Morgan Stanley employees were expecting a 12% rise in their bonuses this year. So you can see why all this might have been a blow. However, given that M&A revenues per head were down 12% across the industry in the first 9 months of 2023, the decline wasn't exactly out of line for Morgan Stanley's M&A bankers. Equity and debt capital markets can be more justifiably disappointed if their bonuses fell too. Goldman Sachs begins announcing its bonuses tomorrow, along with its fourth quarter results. JP Morgan announces tomorrow too. Today is Martin Luther King Day in the US, giving US bankers a moment to pause and consider racial and social inequalities before focusing on whether they've been paid fairly relative to their peers when those numbers are revealed tomorrow. Separately, if your spouse tells you to stop complaining about your job or to find another one, it might help to pay attention. The Financial Times reports that Adebayo Ogunlesi's wife spoke a few words to this effect when he was a banker at Credit Suisse, and that this impetus prompted him to leave banking and raise an infrastructure fund. 17 years later, that fund, GIP, has $105 billion in assets under management and has just been bought by BlackRock, giving Ogunlesi a net worth estimated at $2.3 billion. It would have not been this way if he'd ignored his wife and stayed at CS, Credit Suisse. Meanwhile, Goldman Sachs asset management head Mark Nachman says it's time for private equity to make returns the hard way. Over the past 10 years, you could rely on lots of leverage, cheap costs of capital, and multiple expansion, and you made your returns that way. That will be harder to do going forward. This goes back to the old days when people targeted undermanaged divisions of large companies or private companies that could be improved. A lot of the returns will come from sourcing really good opportunities and then the operational improvements. Goldman Sachs may not be lending to consumers, but it's lending to everyone else. It's more making loans to private wealth clients, individuals and families who on average have $60 million with the bank, and to institutional clients like private equity funds and hedge funds which want to borrow for stock purchases. Centerview Partners paid its UK staff an average of £413,000 last year. Morgan Stanley is paying $249 million to settle US block trading probes. Pawan Passy, the former head of its U.S. equity syndicate desk, has been charged with fraud and given a $250,000 civil penalty. One investor told Passy that his tip-offs put him in the game and that he, the investor, would be at the kiddie table if it weren't for Passy. I know who my daddy is. Ted Pick is doing Morgan Stanley's first results call on Tuesday. Then he's going straight to Davos. JP Morgan made a record $49.6 billion in net income last year, which was more than its previous $48.3 billion record from 2021. London police arrested 6 people over plans to target the London Stock Exchange. Deutsche Bank is strategizing takeovers of Commerzbank AG and ABN AMRO Bank, Nevada. Profits at Brevin Howard more than tripled to £268 million, which is now being shared between the staff. Sean Gambino left Eisler to found Bay Point Partners with Eisler backing. Matthew Carter Tracy, who was an energy portfolio manager at Citadel's fundamental equities business, Surveyor Capital, and Joseph Diagiacomo have departed. So that's going to be it for today, ladies and gentlemen. Make sure you hit that like, drop a comment, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you're made aware every time I release new content. And as always, share, share, share. Lastly, to contribute to channel growth or to schedule an appointment with a licensed financial professional, the links are in the description of this video. With that being said, ladies and gentlemen, wipe ass. Work in progress every day and see success. And remember, folks, when people challenge you, they don't challenge you to challenge you, but they challenge you to challenge you. Accept the challenge. Salute.